I moved around a lot when growing up, and we didn't really settle down until I was around maybe like fifth grade or so. I My dad left before I was born, so I didn't have a dad growing up for like 4 years. So my grandma came in as like a replacement. She acted more of a dad than anyone else I know. Then my mom met my now dad, and he's we had our issues, and it's not as easy when he's your stepdad. So sometimes there's like that difficulty, especially if they have children after you. So with my mom and my biological dad, they never had any other children besides me, and I'm kind of that in between. So then the other three brothers I have, I love them to death by all means, but it's just like there was that part of me growing up that was just like slightly jealous, just as in like their dad stuck around. He stayed with them, and I mean it sucked, but you know, through all of it, I mean, God stayed with me. I was able to make better decisions. Being a Christian was kind of something I have always known. It wasn't something that was like, oh, I didn't know about it, and like, I start hearing things about it, and I like became a follower. It was more or less like my parents believed, and I like kind of adopted it, but our faith wasn't solely centered on God. It was kind of that lukewarm Christian feel household dynamic. I remember when I first got baptized, it was at one of my church camps. I think that was the moment where it somewhat started to shift into my own faith rather than just something I had with my parents. And so after that moment, it was more of a slow build up from like this point in time all the way up to here, where it was starting to like collectively become my own faith. And I centered it around myself rather than just what my parents were doing or what other people were doing. I guess the changes and stuff that I've seen in my life is more or less just, I feel more humble about a lot of things. I used to just kind of think about myself and only myself. There was no one else to worry about except me. Like what was I doing? What was I gonna have for breakfast or simple stuff like that. It was more of like all about me, and now that I'm starting to develop it more, it's more or less like, what about Christ? And like, what about the people around me? Now I've like learned new habits and new tricks to kind of help myself to figure out what I want, what kind of a faith I want, and like how I want to love God and how I want to show that in what I serve and what I say to people and what I like care for people. And so now it's more or less just me kind of like, I look at it now, it's like, I feel like I have a lot bigger of an impact on my parents than I originally thought I did. It's like, I didn't think that me doing any of this stuff would ever affect them at all. It'd just be like, oh, well, I'm doing my own thing, they'll be fine. But honestly, I think, and they've even told me this, that I've kind of changed the way they thought about Christianity in a good way. And like, just help them. I mean, they still have their habits. We all do. It's not something that can change overnight, but it's definitely something they're more aware of now rather than being like oblivious to it. Honestly, I'm excited to do missionary trips. I want to be able to go across the world and film and take videos. I mean, send it back to here so people realize how difficult it is in different countries rather than our own. Because we have that American concept of, oh, everything's fine. We live, we breathe, we eat, we do this, we do that, we do what we want. We kind of have that mindset in that bubble, but like, you look at different countries and it's like, they're trying to survive. They're trying to do what we would call normal daily things, they would call the difficult challenges of life. And so it's like, it's a very big difference between us and a different country. And to see how Christians are in a different country compared to how we are here as Christians. We have lights, sound, a nice chapel. We can worship without the worry of like people seeing us. Like if people see us, I mean, they might judge us. That's the worst they're gonna do. But in a different country, they could be killed. They could be shamed for it. It's like, just to see that difference, I feel like would definitely help a lot of Christians. And especially American Christians. No offense, America.
I love that ending. No offense, America.
No offense, America. My bad.